What is good, everybody? It's your boy Vortex46. I'm back with another video. We're going to be diving into a new slate of games here for March 10th of 2025. As always, we will talk about a recap, everything like that from yesterday, and then we will dive into our two NBA lock picks for tonight, as well as just the regular picks and NCAA picks for sure. As I always say, gonna come off camera real briefly here. As I always say, be sure to go and follow me over on Twitter at Vortex46 for all of my picks for NBA, NCAA. Going to be, as always, going to be looking to be pushing for some baseball stuff, definitely for NFL for next year, and definitely for college for next year, because I am pretty much getting more and more comfortable with betting with college for this season. I have to come back on camera because my laptop is being slow on one aspect. But needless to say, guys, we can recap. I can pull my Twitter account on my phone here. We can recap yesterday's stuff. So I had a really good night for college, and a decent enough night for NBA, but in total, just a really good night when it's pertaining to my 10 picks, specifically for last night. So pretty much I went 7-3 for everything as far as my picks are concerned. I went 4-1 for NCAA at 5 NCAA college basketball picks, and then I went 3-2 5 NBA picks, which again totaled to 7-3. So pretty much for college, I had originally it was 4 picks, as I've been doing basically on live streams, like I did a live stream yesterday. In the past few days, I been doing really just like 4 picks for NCAA, 4 picks for NBA, total at 8. And every so often I'll do like 10, and every so often I'll do like 12. I went overboard 2 to 3 days ago. I had 14 picks when I talked about it in the live stream a couple, roughly about a couple days ago, where I went 4-0 my original 4 NCAA picks and 2-2 for NBA, and would have went 6-2, but I went overboard with adding several extra picks and went 7-7. So, and then the next day went, which was yesterday, went 6-6. So, the day before, which was 6-6. So last night again 7-3. But last night I went with this. These are the picks that I went with. Like I said, 4-1 in total. One college loss. We can talk about the college loss real briefly. And that was pretty much North Texas. That was for them to cover the spread. It was -5.5. Like I said, I wish I could show it here on my laptop here, but it's not pulling up. My laptop's just running real slow. But pretty much had them down for the -5.5 per Outlier, because I use Outlier per the information. Outlier was showing this key information for them to cover the spread and everything. I believe they were like 4-1 over the last 5 games, while Temple was 3-2 or 2-3 or something like that. And I was just like, well, I'll lean more towards this one. But Temple won 66-61. They pretty much did not lose the lead. That pretty much didn't cash. But the other ones that did cash was Drake -2.5. That cashed. They pretty much handled business at home. I believe they won by 10 plus points. I want to say maybe 14 if I remember correctly the score. That cashed. I took Oregon on it was that was a final pick for the day. I took Oregon at -6.5 for them to cover against Washington. They got the win, winning literally on the nose at 7, 80-73 on the road. So that cashed. And the other pick was for UNCO, for them to cover the -11.5 against Webb, Garner, not Garner, but Webb. Here they pretty much won 76-52 at home, so that one cashed. And the other one, this is my favorite one, was Michigan State. I've been talking about this in the past live streams, past few days. Here about how Michigan State, I've been betting on their defense, betting on them to pretty much keep the total under the total score. And yeah, Pretty much, I went 3 straight games where I bet the under for their games, which one of the games was against Michigan State on the road, and that did indeed hit. That was the start, and then it just moved forward with the next 2 games going under, and then I decided to switch it up in 2 games ago, where I decided to go with the spread, which was -6.5, and they covered on the road. I can't specifically remember the actual team that they covered against at the moment, but they covered that number and they won the game. And I decided to go back to back with another 6.5 last night against Michigan, but this time at home. And they handled business. They handled business well. Not only did they win big, they shut Michigan down, holding them under 70 points, basically holding them under 65. They won 79-62 at home. They handled business. And I think that went under the total as well. So had I decided to go with the under or the spread, either way, that would have been now 4-0 betting on Michigan over their last 4 games. Excuse me, 5-0. I apologize, 5-0. So now my question now for me is, do I want to bet on them in their next game to cover the spread? Because again, I took the 3 under straight to go 3-0, and then I decided to go back to back with spreads for 2-0 with that one. But again, it's 5 straight games of betting on Michigan, whether it was the under or the spread. Do I want to bet on them for a 3rd straight game on the spread? I'm leaning really definitely leaning towards that, but we'll see what happens with that. Still waiting for my laptop to fix this so that we can kind of do some things, because what I'm looking at, what I'm talking about is pretty much betting on using Pick'It, the app, the free app that follows all of your picks. So that's something that I use to pretty much keep a record for the day. NBA, I went ahead and grabbed my Memphis Grizzlies, my second favorite team in the NBA, for them to cover the spread at -8.5 against the Pelicans. Guess the Pelicans were due to at least cover, even though they lost by 3, 107-104. That didn't cash. I thought that we could cover the spread and win by 9 or 10 points last night. That didn't happen. So what can you do? That I'll take that loss. But the other loss was a random pick that I decided to do. Was more so because of what FanDuel was talking about. They were talking about like this promotion. You bet on a player to hit over their or under their threes. I went with the over with Jordan Hawkins to hit 3 threes last night. Same game against my Memphis Grizzlies. He finished with 2. It was 2.5 -103. He finished with 2, so that didn't cover. So it is what it is. But the other 3 that did cash, I did go 1-1 on my 2 lock picks. The one loss, of course, was the Memphis Grizzlies. That was one of my lock picks. But the other lock pick that did cover was Phoenix at Dallas for the over 229.5. That cashed at 241. I'll gladly take that win. And the other couple of games here were overs. It was Utah at Philly over 223. It just felt right, per what Outlier was showing. It just felt right to pick that in the midst of not knowing if Maxey was playing or not. I don't even know if he did or not. I didn't even check to see if he did. But yeah, it was 223. They both totaled to 248. It worked out in the end. Because at the same time we weren't sure if Marketing and Collins and all of them were playing. We just weren't sure. So yeah, I'll gladly take that as a win. And the other over was San Antonio at Minnesota over 227.5. That cash 265 in total. What a game, right? Literally what a game. 141 to 124. What a game. I didn't even look at anything as far as what the players did, but I will gladly take that as a win. Like I said, 4-1, 3-2, 7-3. I will gladly take those covers. Again, on my laptop is still doing what it's doing. We could just go over what I have for today, talking about these 10 picks, 10 in total, doing 10 today. Originally it was 8, but I decided to add 2 more. So pretty much for college. These first 4, these first 5, these 5 picks. Decided to go with Towson. They are at home, hosting Delaware, for them to cover the spread at -4.5. That's what I decided to go with. It's -115 on DraftKings. Pretty much, per what Outlier was saying, is that talking about Delaware, the Hens were 2-3 ATS over the last 5 games, while the Tigers are 2-2-1 ATS over the last 5 games. But in their last 4 meetings, though, they tied the ATS at 2-2, which is something that kind of stood out to me when taking this specific spot here. Towson is at home. They've been winning more games and have kind of been like really covering, really like when they win big, is from what I remember per what Outlier was showing. So it's just like they're at home. Maybe they can get this cover, maybe. And whether they win big or just win by 5 points or more, that's the hope. But that's that pick. The next pick is for over. Decided to go with the Wolford Furman game to go over 137.5. Pretty much both teams are 4-1 over the last 5 games to the over currently. But the key thing to note for this specific pick is that in their last 4 meetings, they're 4-0 to the over. So it was like when I was looking at this stuff, I was like, well, they're both 4-1. That's great. But when they're matching up against each other, they really be out there just balling out. So I decided to go with that even more heavy, to just say, all right, this is their 5th game, this 5th matchup here. Let me go on ahead and take this over here. I'm gonna go on ahead and lock this in here, not as a lock specifically, but just in general. Let me just put this pick in for them to go to score 138 points tonight in total. Let's see what happens with that. Next up is another spread for college. Decided to go with Robert Morris to cover the spread at -3.5 against Oakland. They're both teams are actually 3-1-1 over the last 5 games ATS, but when it's pertaining to their actual matchup, they're actually in the last 4 games they're 2-2. Another game where they covered the spread at 2 apiece. So I just felt like pretty much with the Robert Morrison pick, another team that's been winning by 10 plus points over the last 2 or 3 games, more so home games. I just felt like that this was a specific spot that probably more than likely could work out. So let me get Robert Morris at -3.5. I don't know if the number moved or not, but we'll just focus on that for now, and hope that that cashes. And the final college pick that I have, I put this in hours ago, but I posted it to my Twitter pretty much maybe a couple of hours ago. Actually, I think I can find it here now that my laptop decided to want it to work. Let me come off of camera and show you. This is the pick. So it's me taking Nicole's to cover the spread -4.5 against Incarnate Word. Per what Outlier is pretty much stating is that the Cardinals, specifically the away team, Incarnate has been covering the spread at ATS of 4-1 over the last 5 games, while Nicole's have covered the spread at 3-2 over the last 5 games. But here's the kicker thing. Another reason why I decided to go with them on the spread is that they have covered the spread in the last 3 meetings, 3 straight games against Incarnate Word. So that's pretty much the reason why I grabbed it, is simply because they are undefeated with covering the spread, but and of course winning the game. They've won. They've beaten them 3 straight games. So, and I believe they even matched up recently this year. Yeah, actually I see it here. It's back in January they won that game on the road. So, and they covered. Actually, it looks like they covered on a plus there. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see. Yeah, see, they actually covered a +1.5 here, 88-82. So I'll gladly take that as another pick that I decided to go with. So that's that one. So that's all 5 NCAA games. Let's talk about the 2 lock picks and then the 3 other picks that I decided to go with. So next up, LA Lakers at the Nets. Yes, they're at Brooklyn. I decided to go with this as my first lock pick, to take the under for the total, which at the time was 215.5. When looking at this, I got this on FanDuel -110 at the time. Again, all of these picks I pretty much put in early in the morning. So the reason why I grabbed this is mainly because of the Lakers. The last 5 games for the Nets, they're 2-3 to the under, while the Lakers are actually 3-2 to the under over the last 5 games. But the one thing that stood out that can hinder this from going under is that their last 3 meetings they're 1-2. But it was more so the most recent game that they went under, and I think they only scored 202 points in that game. And I think the actual number was 216.5, if I remember correctly. So this was more recent this season. But it's just mainly because both teams, their pace. LeBron's not playing tonight. Luka's going to be, if he does play, I think he's questionable too. If Luka doesn't play, this is definitely a spot to hammer the under. The Nets, they've been still playing really good, decent defense over these last few games currently, even though they're starting to score over 100 points, because they were struggling to score over 100 points. I'm not sure if Cam Thomas is playing tonight, or even Cameron Johnson. I don't know. I didn't look up that information, but it was just more so these two teams, they're pacing, they slow the game down. Again, LeBron's not in, so I just said, let me just go on ahead and take this under here. And pretty much the rest of the NBA picks that I have, except for the last one, my original 4 before I added this 5th one earlier today, I decided to go with just total points. The next total is another under. This is my second lock pick. It's actually the Jazz at Boston tonight. I took the under. This was over on Caesars. This was it was actually 228 at the time, but when I checked Caesars, it was 229. So this is actually a better value in my opinion, even if it's just a half a point. That half a point sometimes can be positive, but I really don't like half a points. I state that a lot. But when it works, and I'll definitely accept it. But pretty much the Jazz over the last 5 games, they're 1-4 to the under over the last 5 games. But the Celtics are 3-2 to the under over the last 5 games, and also they're actually 1-1 in the last 2 meetings that they played. So Boston, more so, I want to say they had back-to-back games. I want to say, if I remember correctly, per what Outlier was showing. Let me just double check the spot here. So yeah, it was back-to-back games here. I'll show it here. It was back-to-back games that they had, that currently these past few days that the score went under. So that played a key role in the reason why I decided to go with the under for this game. So that's why I just decided to take that. So we'll see what happens. The next one is actually an over. It's actually 76ers at Atlanta. To take the over is 232.5. Yep, minus 110 over on FanDuel. I pretty much grabbed this, and there's a main reason why. Here's the main reason why. One, Philly is 3-2 to the over the last 5 games, but the Hawks are 5-0, literally 5-0. I can show you here per, again, Outliers graphics. 5-0, 5 straight games that they've gone over this mark here. I decided to just go on ahead and take this, but also too, when we look at it, the last 4 meetings, specifically another game like this, is also 4-0 to the over when it's pertaining to Philly and the Hawks meeting, whether on the road, whether at home, depending on which team is playing which. But 4 straight games are going over. Give me a 5th one. That's going to be a pick that I decided to go with. So we definitely had to take that one. And then the last pick is an under. And this one, I finally did it. I finally picked it. I decided to go on ahead and grab this. This is the Denver Nuggets at my Thunder. We just played last night in OKC, so we're back-to-back games. So here's the kicker. We just played last night. We just had an under. We shut most of the Nuggets down, but Porter went off, and Joker almost had a triple-double. But when we look at this, both teams are 3-2 over the last 5 games. But here's the kicker. In their last 7 meetings alone, as you see there from what I typed, they are literally last 7 meetings 6-1 to the under. Look at this. Just the only time it went under was last season, back on January 6th. But every other time, even in last season, every meeting they went under. And again, this continues to seem to be the trend. And I'm just believing that this is going to hit for another under for 8th game out of the last for these next 8 out of 7 games here. this is going to cash, so we can go 7-1 for this specific pick. So that's that. And the last pick for today, it's pretty much real simple, real easy. This is a safe pick. It's a 2-leg parlay. One player to score 10 points, another player to hit 2 3-pointers. It's actually the 2 players that I went with the last time and actually covered this one, so I decided to go back to them. It was Jabari Smith. I'll show the ticket here. This is over on FanDuel. Jabari Smith to hit 10 points and Brooks to shoot and make 1.5 3-pointers. When we look at the information here, Smith is 4-1 to scoring 10 or more points over the last 5 games. He's averaging 12 points currently. While the Magic's defense that they're playing against on the road are allowing 21 points per the power forward position. And Dylan Brooks over the 1.5 threes, he's also 4-1 over the last 5 games. Brooks is averaging 3 threes over the last 5 games, while the Magic's defense are actually there. This is the one thing though. Magic's defense are allowing 2 threes to the small forward position. This is a plus value. I think it's plus 116 if I remember. Yeah, plus 116. I put this in not too long ago, just as I was finishing up work and stuff like that. I was like, well, I got some downtime. Let me put this in real quick. Let me look at some stuff and put this in real quick. So yeah, that's pretty much the pick. This is a safe pick. These are the type of picks that can really basically kind of build you a bankroll for if you really decide to stick with stuff like this. This could be something that you can consider doing for future reference, that I love doing because it's real simple, real, you know what I mean? Again, you only need one player to score 10, or even maybe just 2 players to score 10 points. But I'm just saying, like, you just decide to say, okay, what players are on a stretch? Some players actually average, more than 10 points in like 10 games. You're like, oh, he should be able to go out there and get that. They're like minus 290 or something. And then you can add something else, like like I said, player to get 2 threes. That could be a minus 100, like a low minus 100 or something, or even a plus 100 type of thing. And that could be something that cashes. And you just keep doing that over and over again, 6-7 games, and ladder that, and you can have funds in your pocket easily. But those are all the picks, guys. We're going to see what happens. This video is over 20 minutes, more than likely going to be a little over 20 minutes after I edit this, get it out to you all. We'll see what happens tonight. Let's hope for the best. Let's make it happen. Let's get these wins tonight. Hopefully it will be another positive tracker here for tonight for college and NBA. And I will hopefully talk to you all tomorrow with my, hopefully maybe possible, well, it won't be a lock pick video, but it will be a video after I get off of work I put together for the evening for tomorrow's games. But with that, hopefully talk to you all next time. Stay safe, stay humble, and good luck with all of your picks tonight. Peace.